This is Chapter 7, Section 1. We're going to talk about ratios and proportions. We're heading into a chapter about similarity. So your note page is just in your notebook or on a piece of paper. You need to take down some notes. You should call this Chapter 7, Section 1, somewhere on your paper. Let's first define a ratio and a proportion. You've heard these terms many times. Let's just have a quick review of what they are. A ratio is comparing two numbers or two things, comparing them, creating some relationship to them. That's written either with the word to between it, with a colon between it, or sometimes as a fraction. A proportion equates two ratios. In other words, it puts an equal sign between it. So we're going to equate two ratios by putting a fraction equals a fraction. So let's jump to example 1. Example 1 is going to be finding the ratio of the slope. So we're going to find slope either from a coordinate plane, which should be very quick for you because we've done a lot of those lately, or using the actual coordinates. So let's do example 1a. I'm going to sketch a line for you. I'm going to put it on a coordinate plane with dots, and after that I'm going to count. So let's just say when I count I go up 3 and right 2. Let's call this line L. We're going to say the slope of line L is equal to rise over run. Rise over run. It should be automatic. The next example I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some coordinates. So let's say I give you point X is negative 1, 3, and point Y is 2, negative 2. Write a ratio for the slope of line XY. We're going to do rise. I always circle my Y's. It reminds me to start there. The rise is Y 2 minus y1, and I know I'm not writing the formula down because we've done this a gazillion times, but if you need to, it's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. The bottom becomes a positive 3, and the top becomes a negative 5. So I'm going to get negative 5 over 3 as my slope. Okay, example 2 is just doing cross product. The cross product of a proportion setup is when you literally make an x. And you will need a calculator for this section, so make sure you bring it to school every day. The x reminds me that I'm going to multiply 7 times 72, and when I do that on my calculator, I get 504. This part of the x reminds me that I'm going to multiply 56 times x, and it becomes a simple algebra problem. Dividing 504 by 56, we get x equals 9. Okay, let's call that example 2a. Example 2b, let's do one just a little bit harder. We have a proportion set up that has variables, but these variables are inside a binomial. So I'm going to write this out. When I do these two, I need to multiply z minus 4 times z minus 4. So if you can remember to put those in parentheses, it might jog your memory that you should be FOILing. Then on the other side, I'm going to write what 5 times 20 is, which is 100. This left side, when you FOIL, the first term is z squared. The outer term is negative 4z. The inner term is negative 4z, and the last term is 16. All of that is equal to 100. When I simplify, I get z squared minus 8z plus 16 equals 100. Now, at this point, you're going to be a little bit confused because you're not going to be able to solve it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back a little bit here, And we're going to realize that if we write this out as z minus 4 quantity squared equals 100, my goal right now is to get to z. So I got to undo this and this. In algebra or in math, when we undo something, we do the opposite. So we're going to take the square root of both sides. This and this undo each other. What I'm left with is what's inside. And I want you to write all that down with words. The square and the square root undo each other, and what you're left with is what's inside. I get z minus 4 equals plus or minus 10. And I write out two answers. Z minus 4 equals plus 10, and z minus 4 equals minus 10. And that's what this little thing is right here. My final answer is z equals 14 for this side, and z equals negative 6 for this side. So you're going to get two answers. When you have a problem like this with a z minus 4 or some sort of variable expression, just remember that you should get two answers in the end. Okay, the last example I'm going to do with you guys is a word problem. It's written here for you. It says the ratio of the side lengths of a triangle is 4 to 7 to 5. You notice I'm using the word 2 whenever I see a colon. Its perimeter, which is all the sides added up, is 96 centimeters. You'll notice that I took the ratio of the sides and put a multiplier. That's what you do when you have a ratio. You put a multiplier. I'm just calling it x because it's the easiest variable for us to work with. What happens is that now I just combine like terms. 4 plus 7 plus 5 is 16. I get 16x equals 96 and x equals 6. The question, however, asks, what is the length of the shortest side? What is the length of the shortest side? So obviously this one is the one that's going to be the shortest side. So I'm going to take that multiplier that I got, the 6, and I'm going to say the shortest side is 6 times 4, or 24 centimeters. That's the shortest side. Now, what if I ask you to find the longest side, the length of the longest side? The length of the longest side is going to be the one with 5. So we're going to use our multiplier that we got, which was 6, and we're going to say the longest side is 30 centimeters. And I could do the same for the middle part. The middle part is going to be 7 times 6, or 42. And if it asks me for all three sides, I say 24, semicolon. Sorry about that. The middle one is 30, semicolon, and the biggest one is 42. And that would be the answer. All right, sorry, this is not the longest, this is the middle one. So we have the middle one is 30, the longest is 42. If they ask you to find all three, you put them back into a semicolon format like this. Okay, before you are finished, you need to do a few practice problems. These are also in your book on page 457, but I've put the graph here. You're going to start by finding the slope of line L. It's the green line you see there, that's line L. It's also number 3 on the exercises. Okay, the next two I want you to do are number 9 and number 12. And I want you to show the steps. Obviously, you're going to have to show some work on this. You're not just going to be able to write the answer since I'm giving you the answer. For how you found y for number 9. So I should see something equals something, at least one step, and then y equals. And then for number 12, I want you to take your time and solve for x by multiplying x minus 1 times x minus 1. If you have to refer back to the example, go ahead and do so. And the last one I want you to do is number 7 from the exercises. Sorry, number 6 from the exercises. It's giving you the ratio of the side lengths of a quadrilateral. So this one has 4 sides, but it is giving you the perimeter. So show the work for this one. You should be writing something x plus something x plus something x 4 times, and setting it equal to your perimeter, just like I did in the example problem. Show me that you know how to find x by combining like terms, and then plug it back in to get the length of the shortest side. That's it. I'll see you tomorrow.